As we start to get used to a new normal, Primordial Radio knows that for some of us, it's not quite that easy. That's why we'll always offer a helping hand to the PR fam who need it most. Like Sub a Sub, where you can pay forward a subscription to someone who might not be able to afford this month. Or a Sub's holiday if you're struggling yourself. And our 30-day free trial. Find out more at primordialradio.com/lean on us. Primordial Radio. Rock. Metal. Community.
This is a podcast from Primordial Radio.
Rock. Metal. Community.
For more, check primordialradio.com.
Hello once again, dear listener, and welcome back to our regular stroll down the path of silliness and through the fields of knobheadery, while hopefully avoiding the dog egg of plagiarism that is the Lost in Porridge Plaguecast, brought to you by Primordial Radio. Formed from the daily episodes of the most exciting broadcasting since Dirty Den had an unfortunate coming together with a daffodil, this Plaguecast is a collection of this week's adventures in utter bullshittery. Our intrepid guide is none other than Dr. Cornelius Porridge, part gentleman adventurer, part steampunk stand-up, part-time matador. Once he grabs the bull by the horns, the only place he's likely to lead it, though, is straight into the nearest china shop, where mess will undoubtedly ensue. Last week, we left our heroes, Porridge, his cybernetic badger accomplice Colon, and the ever-homicidal pirate Captain Bonnie, in the midst of a quest to find mythical beasties across the galaxy. Having arrived at planet Sterling, a planet seemingly populated by emigrants from that Scottish city, our heroes had discovered an entire family of Loch Ness monsters was being kept in less than optimal conditions. Of course, this was a wrong in desperate need of righting. But remember, Buckfast gets you flipping drunk very quickly. Onwards to adventure.
Greetings, my tumultuous torrent of tartan-togged Tunnocks tea cakes. Welcome to a new week of the Plague Diaries. Previously, while Colin and myself were finishing off one massive adventure, which quite frankly had gone on for far too long, Captain Bonnie had been told of a secret tribe, the Two Jabbos, or Vaccinatii, who could go places that others couldn't. They had supposedly found an ancient script telling of a gathering of mythical and legendary creatures and beasts, and she was keen to find out more. Now we find ourselves on a new adventure. Do you want to know more? Then that's what the weekly catch-up podcasts are for. Go to primordialradio.com. Now, onward to adventure.
We interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to bring you this important communication. You are listening to Primordial Radio. Do not adjust your sets as we plumb the depths of tall tales and adventure. Join us now as we get lost in porridge.
Colon, Captain Bonnie and myself sat in a small boat, bobbing in the waves around half a mile offshore. Just after midnight on the shore we could see the lights of the coastal sanctuary for beasties, with a particularly bright glare coming from a huge screen showing returns of a soporific TV show. Between us in the bottom of the boat sat a couple of sets of night vision binoculars and several large boxes, their contents clinking as the boat moved.
You really think this is going to work?
Pretty sure. Do you think your arm is up to the job?
Well, that's only one way to find out, isn't there? Right, time to piss or get off the pot.
I recalled events of the previous night, watching a fight in a bar that had spilled out onto the street. Colon had gone up to the bar afterwards for more drinks and seemed to have an interesting conversation with the bar staff.
Right, I've got an idea. Turns out, what set those buggers knocking lumps out of each other was what they were drinking. Seems it's an ancient herbal tonic, a health drink, invented by monks ages ago, but it does funny things to you as well.
Well, what's it called then?
Well, the locals call it by several names, and I reckon if we can get it into Nessie and the young'uns, it'll be an antidote to the crap they've been feeding them to keep them under control.
And then what?
Well, they're big enough to break out themselves. They'll bust through those fences like they weren't there and get themselves out to sea.
Ooh, you may never take our lives, but you'll never take our freedom! Oh, hang on. What about all the staff? You know, the good-looking ones, right? They stop them escaping?
Ooh, that's an interesting one. They're mythical beasts too. They're selkies.
What, the shape-shifting water horse people?
No, those are kelpies. Don't look so surprised. I read.
Right. They tried using kelpies as staff to start with. Only trouble is that the kelpies were taking tourists off and talking them into going for a swim with them, then drowning them and eating them. Not really good for business.
So they're not human then?
No, these are selkies. Shape-shifting seal people. Much nicer, friendlier, less into eating people. Seems they have to take their skins off to change to human form to go on land. And the owners of the sanctuary locked the seal skins up in a safe place years ago, stopping them from getting back in the sea. They're as captive as Nessie. I don't think they'll try and stop us, but just to be sure, here's my idea.
And so, in the darkness, in a boat with my two companions, we started our plan to break out Nessie and her young. Captain Bonnie opened the first box and drew out a large green bottle filled with dark liquid and something attached to the neck. What is that stuff?
Cumbernauld rocket fuel, commotion lotion, wreck the hoose juice.
What? It's not. It is. It's Buckfast. You're going to feed those beasts a bucket load of Bucky. Do you know what you're doing?
Pretty sure. Anyway, what's the worst that can happen?
Well, for starters, Furbag, those bottles are going to shatter when they hit the water. Or worse, Nessie and co.
Pick up a set of those goggles and watch and learn, monkey boy. Watch and learn. Captain, are you ready to start launching?
Less talking, more doing. Now, get out of the way and let me have some room.
Captain Bonnie leaned back and threw the bottle with all the strength of her new arm. Without watching to see where it had gone, she reached for another bottle and another and another. I watched through the binoculars, seeing the bottles tumbling high in the night sky. Just as the first bottles reached the compound, the object at the bottle's neck puffed open. Parachutes! The rest of the bottles slowly descended amongst the sleeping beasts.
Done. They're all on their way. Let's see what happens now then.
Still watching, I saw one land on the nose of one of the unconscious creatures. Its prehensile tail instinctively grabbed it, opened it, and stuck it in its mouth. Suddenly its eyes shot open and a loud roar could be heard across the water. Oh. Colon, Captain Bonnie and myself sat in the dark in a small boat, bobbing in the waves around half a mile offshore. In the bottom of the boat sat several empty boxes which contained dozens of bottles of Vinda Jakey, Coatbridge table wine. Yes, that's right, it was good old Buckfast, thrown by the bionic arm of our pirate. They were now landing in an enclosure holding Nessie and her large brood of younger beasts.
Hey, are you sure that the Bucky will be an antidote for that clag that's kept them tranquilised for years?
It seems to be working. Listen, can you hear that roaring? They're waking up. And look, there's definitely a lot more movement from them than before.
I looked through the binoculars. There was definitely a lot of thrashing around, and the beasts were grabbing and drinking every bottle of Bucky they could find.
Now all we have to do is watch them break out through the fences and escape out to sea. Job done.
Suddenly, the huge TV screen that had been showing reruns of Take the High Road to keep the beasts calm exploded in a huge shower of sparks as a torrent of Buckfast bottles were thrown at it. An immense low bellow reached us across the water. Bollocks to you, Mrs. Mark!
Are you sure this is part of the plan, Badger?
It's fine. They're just getting it out of their system. They'll break through the fences any second now.
Yeah, they seem to be climbing up the walls. And out of the enclosure.
Any second now?
Now they're just breaking through the walls into the sanctuary.
Any second now? Crap! You're going the wrong way, you useless great scary sacks of cack! Here, come here!
We watched as the beast started rampaging across the ground, smashing small buildings and other enclosures, releasing other creatures.
Oh, we're too far away for them to hear you, Badger. That's even if they would listen to you. Oh, look. There's the Selkie staff, loads of them. Oh, they'll get them turned round.
Not so sure about that. In fact, it looks like they're herding them towards the main building. Yup, the one Nessie and co are smashing down now. What on earth are they doing? They're running in and nicking what looks like loads of fur coats. They're looting the place. They'll be after trainers and flat screens TVs next.
No, look. They're sharing them around and running down to the water. It's their skins. They're seal skins.
Oh, bloody great. We've got the wrong buggers to escape.
No, it looks like your plan is working. Nessie and the gang look like they've finished wrecking the place and are finally heading to the water. Yep, there they go, smashing through the fences, just as you planned. Oh, what's that coming towards us through the water? Very quickly through the water. Torpedoes! We watched as a series of bubbles rapidly headed straight towards us with no chance of escape. At the last second, a series of seals' heads broke the surface. The Selkies! Shape-shifting seal creatures now back in their skins!
They said you'd come.
Aye, they did.
The two Jabbo, they said you'd come, set us free.
Aye, when you did, you had to have this. The first Selkie threw a sealed cylinder into the boat and they started to swim off, joining the others as they escaped out to sea.
Agume! Don't forget! Agume!
Oh, aye, Agume! You must go, Agume! Now get to fuck your door bags! A huge fireball suddenly burst out from what was left of the main building, and the ear-shattering blast wave rolled out across the water. Alarms shrieked and howled, and searchlights started stabbing out into the darkness. It was indeed time to get to fuck. Let's be honest, this is why Scotland wants independence.
Yes.
Watched as a huge herd of sea creatures led by Nessie, the Loch Ness Monster, herself, headed out into the open water, escaping from what had been their prison for generations. The sanctuary was in ruins, a burning inferno, alarms blaring, and other released creatures making their own breaks for freedom. Searchlights shone across the water trying to pick out the cause of what had happened.
Oh, don't worry. We're too far away to be seen, and they can't pick us up by radar. Hey, well done, Badger. Looks like the plan worked, eventually.
They were supposed to break through the fences. That's all. Look at it. Look at the mess. It's all trashed.
You've obviously never seen a proper buckfast rampage before then, have you? Well done, though. Mission accomplished. Sort of. Now, what was that thing that the Selkies threw in the boat? A series of bubbles rose from underwater beside our boat, and the head of two large creatures broke the surface.
More Selkies. You can ask them yourself.
No, look, these aren't seals, they're horses, water horses, kelpies. And they seem more interested in you than me or the badger.
Hello there, Hen. What are you doing with these two roasters?
Hey, dollface, ditch the tubes and come for a two I see you.
Sorry, guys. Places to go, people to see. Anyway, I didn't bring my costume.
Ah, there's no need for a cosy. Tops are off, eh?
Aye, lassie, no bother. We'll keep you safe. Get yourself in the water.
OK, you've talked me into it. You'll have to come a bit closer, though. I get a bit nervous in open water like this, in the dark. You never know what's out there.
The kelpie swam right up to the boat next to the captain. Her hands suddenly shot out and she grabbed each one by the throat in each hand.
OK, you pair of murderous crap bags. I know who and what you are, and I know your game, and it's going to stop right now, isn't it?
I'll quit right now.
Let's go, done.
Cross your hearts and hope to die. Good boys. That's the right answer.
She twisted one hand and yanked back forcefully with the other, breaking one kelpie's neck with a loud snap and ripping the throat out of the second. Colonel and myself looked on, horrified as their bodies sank beneath the waves.
Sorry about that interruption. So what were you saying?
The thing that got thrown in the boat, what was that?
I got it. It looks like it could be another scroll. Bloody well wrapped, though. We'd better bugger off from here first. I reckon it won't be long till they send someone out to have a nosy round. And if they find him with his throat ripped out, or watery Walter now able to see what's going on behind him, there are going to be some awkward questions to answer.
We made our way back to a tiny deserted beach not too far from the spaceport just before sunrise. Sneaking onto the ship, we headed to the bridge and got the local news channels playing on the monitors.
Well, surprise, surprise, guess what the number one story is? Oh, look at the amount of damage. Seems like they had a lot of pent-up aggression to get rid of. It's still burning in places. The fence. All they had to do was go through the fence.
And it said about how they got out, maybe pointing the finger of blame at some, visitors.
Oh, hang on. Oh, they're showing bits of broken bucky bottles, so they know what happened to stop Nessie and the kids being doped up. Ha! They're blaming it on local kids. Hold up, they've got a drone camera. They found her and the herd out at sea, and they're going to... They're gone. They've just vanished. The whole herd.
I noticed one of the small drones footage, filming not far from where we had been the night before. It picked out something floating in the water. Two somethings, with horses' heads. Not moving much, just bobbing on the surface. Time for us to vanish too. We had broken Nessie and her herd out from their prison, and Captain Bonny had broken the necks of two potentially murderous kelpies, water horses with a taste for human flesh. It was time to leave planet Sterling, before fingers started being pointed yet again.
I've been watching the news channels. They're saying that the two kelpie bodies they found disgruntled ex-employees of the sanctuary. They are responsible for the mass escape, but died in unfortunate accident caused by their irresponsible actions. We're in the clear!
Really? Please stop doing the air bunny ears and then explaining what I'm looking at on the outside monitor. Those two coming towards the ship, the ones that scream, "We're hard-nosed, grizzled, seen everything detectives. Nothing is going to surprise us and we'll find out your deepest, darkest secrets before we're finished." Those ones.
Oh, I don't like the look of that. Well then, what's to stop us just from buggering off right now? They can just eat our dust.
Firstly, the fact this spaceport has got us locked in place with a land anchor, stopping our engines from starting. Secondly, that if we do just bugger off, it'll make us look as suspicious as a fox in an empty henhouse with a mouthful of feathers saying he was visiting friends for pillow filling. And they'll just set an intergalactic arrest warrant for us. Oh, and lastly, I want to hear what they've got to say. Want to persuade me otherwise?
Nope.
Come on then, let's see what they want. We headed down to the hold and lowered the ramp. The two detectives, dressed in similarly rumpled suits with world-weary looks on their faces, walked in. They looked up and down and then showed us their official ID.
I am Detective Tibus.
And I am Detective Ragged. We're here to discuss an important matter.
Has there been a murder?
The only thing that's been murdered are the bloody awful accents you keep using.
But it adds to the plot. Characters, shit like that. Otherwise, people will just think it's us pair buggering about.
You mean we're just breaking the fourth wall here, aren't we?
Yes.
Look, sorry officers, bit of a domestic, you were saying.
You'll find easier if handstand.
What is?
Talking out your ass. Important matter. We're here to discuss an important matter.
Hey, that's correct. Not murder. Have any of you bought any unlicensed livestock, pet, or animals out of this ship while you've been here? Specifically a wee dog. A what? A dog? Oh, a dog! That might be Sydney. Yeah, he's my dog, and I swear I thought I had him securely locked up in here while we were visiting. Why, what's he gone and done now?
We found him in our Museum of Most Important Artefacts, gieing it laldy and humping an original set of bagpipes. It was the noise coming from the pipes that alerted us to his presence. However, when we tried to catch the little swine, he scampered off down here.
We'd appreciate if you keep the scunner aim from now on you can. What the fuck language is that? In fact, we'd appreciate if you'd bugger off altogether. We've already lost one set of national treasures. And it won't go well for you as if people find out your dog was shagging another one. Dewsbury, I'm just going to redo that bit because I have no idea what Dean's written.
It's in a Scottish accent.
Really? A Scottish accent, you say? Yeah. Part of Detective Ragged, Part 2. Hey, we'd appreciate if you'd keep the scunner aim from now on. You can. In fact, we'd appreciate if you bugger off altogether. We've already lost one set of national treasures, and it won't go well for you as if people find out your dog was shagging another one.
So you're telling us to sod off, leave the planet. But we're locked in place. We can't go anywhere.
By the time we get to the gates, I'd appreciate if I saw your engines fecking off through the clouds. You can?
Aye, you can all feck off, and your little dog too.
Say no more. Anything to prevent a major incident. Consider us gone.
Hey, just one more thing. Does the word agume mean anything to you?
No, should it? Is it a local thing, a word in the original native language? Oh, it's not an insult for stupid tourists bringing daft dogs, is it?
Nay, it's not. It's what Nessie bellowed to her herd and they repeated back just before they disappeared. Are you sure?
Yes, positive. Sorry.
Right then. So why can't I hear those engines warming up then? Time for you to Garski.
Aye, half your feck.
And so, with official permission, off we fecked. I never thought. Oh God. Dewsbury, you need to listen to this one because we may have fucked up a bit in it.
Hey, have you got your tickets to Primordial Radio's AGM this September at the Lincolnshire Showground? Well, we bet you can't wait to see Skindred, Terror Vision, and Borders play a kick-ass show. But we also bet you're not exactly thrilled with the idea of sleeping in that tent you bought for download in 2003. Eesh. Never fear, we've got you covered with Just Rock Up Camping. We'll set you up with a fancy bell tent, dressed with rugs, fairy lights, a table, and bedding. It's just like camping, but without all the nasty bits. Find out more and book yours now at primordialradio.com.